Hi, welcome to Baku Industries, where we combine evolution's lethal efficiency with calculated human design. I am your AI guide, Copper, and I will be updating you with the latest advancements of the scientific division. After our recent failures to terminate Vex due to a lack of contact between our assets and the objective, the higher command of administration has given the scientific division permission to salvage cryogenic specimen number 014-L material in order to complete our goal. It is with great pleasure we reintroduce Project Hydracus. The specimen before you has been dosed with an appropriate amount of rohypnol and is dormant, ready to be transported to its next location after the briefing. Hydracus, also known as Hydractinia dominor, the king of hydrozoans, was an initially discarded asset because of a high risk of being out of control should it ever be placed out of in-lab conditions, though that was precisely the point. But none of that matters now, as the scientific division's request has been granted. Hydracus was and still is our most stable hybrid as of yet, as 100% of its genome comes purely from cnidarian donors. Back then, we had yet to acquire the necessary tools to utilize the genomes of extinct life forms, so it is an asset of an older era, one that has aged like wine. The cnidarian body type also grants us some advantages, as its simplistic nature makes for the perfect empty canvas to modify in our vision. No organs, no heart, and no central nervous system means that the asset will remain stable and the risk of conflicting nature or behaviors will be minimal. The cnidarian body type is also extremely energy efficient, being entirely composed of tissue, water, and venom. And that is how we precisely predict Hydracus will be able to defeat Vex. Standing with a bell width of 4 meters and tentacles that can extend up to 120 meters and weighing 684 kilograms, it is the second largest invertebrate that has ever lived in terms of body mass. But the size of Hydracus is not the most impressive trait our asset holds, as we have hinted before, is its venom, to be more precise, the concoction of multiple toxins that makes up its composition. Another of the multiple benefits of the cnidarian body plan is how it can easily store a plethora of toxins without issues. Given its low metabolic needs, producing and maintaining these amounts of venom is possible. Each genome donor was carefully chosen to exploit Vex's inherited anatomical weaknesses, ones that might be concealed at first glance. Our first donor being Chironex fleckeri, the Australian box jellyfish, inheriting cNIDA and cNIDB proteins for Hydracus venom. These potent sodium channel agonists cause massive depolarization in nerves and muscle cells, leading to tetanic paralysis and cardiac arrest. Thanks to Vex's saltwater crocodiles and most likely tylosaur inheritance, her nerves would be highly excitable, allowing her for quick reaction speeds. However, as a trade-off, these nerves are poorly insulated, making them very vulnerable to neurotoxins such as cNIDA and B. Vex's extremely developed brain, courtesy of her orca and beluga genes, also would make her particularly susceptible to these, given their large, complex nervous systems, which rely on precise sodium/potassium channels to function. This toxin, however, was not the only thing we took from the box jellyfish. We also took its simple eyes, which have proven to be useful for navigating without bumping into objects. The next donor was Palithoa toxica, the zoanthid coral, since we sought to implement its palytoxin in order to exploit crocodile and marine reptiles' relatively small hearts with high reliance on anaerobic respiration, and Vex's size resulting in large oxygen demands and thus cardiovascular sensitivity, which makes her highly vulnerable to arrhythmias and circulatory collapse, respectively. Palytoxin binds to the sodium plus potassium plus ATPase pump, causing ion imbalance and uncontrolled depolarization, leading to vasoconstriction, heart failure, and muscle necrosis. Next on the list is Stichodactyla helianthus, also known as the sun anemone, in order to exploit Vex's armor inherited from the saltwater crocodile, which has one major flaw. While tough, it is highly vascularized, making it vulnerable to systemic toxin spread. Susceptible to the sun, anemones actinoporins, which create pores in cell membranes, leading to hemolysis and tissue breakdown. And the final hybrid in the venom department is Pelagia noctiluca, also known as the mauve stinger jellyfish, the most deadly jellyfish of the Mediterranean. Its neurotoxic peptides block potassium channels in sensory neurons, causing intense pain, confusion, and loss of coordination. Since echolocation requires precise neural function, this toxin would hijack Vex's ability to echolocate, among other things. These concoctions of venoms would be 100% deadly to Vex, predicting full functional shutdown in less than 3 hours. While the nematocysts of Hydracus would easily perforate and inject its venom through Vex's non-armored and relatively frail transparent fins, mouth, nostrils, and eyes. But we are taking no chances and giving Hydracus a reliable way to bypass all of Vex's natural defenses that would keep the nematocysts from reaching deep enough, such as her thick keratinized skin and blubber. The first donor being the common kingslayer, Malo-Kingi, taking and enhancing the NQOL1 nematocyst collagen gene to enhance the elasticity and ejection force of the nematocysts, allowing them to pierce thick keratin on this scale. We also implemented the kingslayer's ability to produce nematocysts not only on its tentacles, but on its bell as well, so no surface is safe to touch. Following up is the glass anemone, Aiptasia pallida, implementing the AP protease enzyme, which degrades extracellular matrix proteins, softening skin before venom injection, helping erode the dense connective tissue in Vex's skin, scales, and blubber, allowing for deeper venom diffusion. Next up is the Portuguese man-o'-war, Phasalia phasalis, with the phasalopan-1 protein, which binds to lipids, allowing venom to diffuse through blubber directly into Vex's bloodstream. Ensuring venom does not get trapped in fat, but reaches organs and nerves quickly. And finally, lion's mane jellyfish, Cyanea capillata, with its cyamucin, a sticky mucus that clings to skin for a slower venom exposure in case the sting doesn't fully penetrate. The mucus layer can keep delivering toxins over time, making sure the actinoporins and AP protease enzymes do their job. We still added one more donor to the genome as a failsafe in case everything went south. Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish, allowing for Hydracus to revert back into its polyp stage should it be damaged severely, allowing it to regrow into its medusa stage in a matter of weeks. Given our recorded information on Vex's behavior, we know she enjoys letting the currents push her as entertainment, we presume, making the chances of her unknowingly swimming into the tentacles of Hydracus without knowing a real possibility, given the length of them and how they are nearly transparent to the naked eye. There is one last advantage the Nidarian body plan provides, and that is being nearly invisible to echolocation, despite its humongous size, given how they are mostly water, giving confusing and mixed signals to Vex, which may cause her to swim closer to the source, trying to figure out what it is. Many of the donors of Hydracus are capable of bioluminescence in order to lure in prey. Even an intelligent creature like Vex would be drawn into a light show of what would seem like a perfectly sized meal during the night. But between the chaotic, almost random pulse and its near invisibility to Vex's echolocation, it would trigger and confuse Vex greatly, as all her hunting instincts would be overlapping each other. It would look the prey has noticed her and is swimming away, is unaware of her presence, or is challenging her all at once, making Vex unknowingly take a bite of, or get tangled in tentacles that are filled with a venom specifically designed to kill her within the 1 to 3 hour mark, if not earlier, due to the severe symptoms of confusion and disorientation, causing her to breach herself or dive down, exceeding her depth limit in a panic. The Bay of Bengal makes for the perfect environment for Hydracus, as the strong currents allow for easy food supply, eating anything and everything that is caught within its tentacles. And should the weather turn too harsh, Hydracus can easily dive to deeper waters and avoid the worst of it. And even then, should it find itself in a highly obstructed space, such as a mangrove forest, the eyes inherited from the box jellyfish allow it to navigate without issues and avoid breaching itself. We trust in the scientific division's golden egg to finish the job.